Well, there's constant change in businesses surrounding our health and what we consume. In other words, what we eat and drink. You've got traditional players not only navigating consumer demand in the current economy, some of the inflationary forces we talk about. On Wall Street, there's also this fascination with weight loss drugs, how that might influence the food and beverage business going forward. And of course, health is not just what we consume or our exercise routines. Mental health in the digital age is getting increased attention. Our next guest thinks about all of these factors and has a successful track record when it comes to investing in these areas. Arlene Dickinson is well known as one of the dragons on Dragon's Den. She is also the founder and general partner of District Ventures Capital. She joins us here in studio. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I mean, just that list highlights there's a lot going on beyond just AI these days in this world of food and wellness. How do you approach all of that? I mean, what are you thinking about?
Well, I think about a lot of things. I mean, technology is fascinating, and certainly it adds to our life in many ways. It also distracts from our life in many ways. But we all get up every day to eat. We all need to have, something nutritional in our bodies to be able to function. And people don't focus on how important this sector really is in Canada and around the world. But particularly in Canada, we just don't invest enough in it.
So you're an investor, but you're talking about just investing in the ecosystem that supports the industry. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just in general, like from manufacturing plants to investing in startup companies to making sure there's growth capital available for those that are doing well, to thinking less about Canada as a country that grows ingredients and then ships them somewhere else, as to a country that actually commercializes ingredients and creates products and then ships those products to not just feed our country, but the world.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting to hear you say that, because I think most Canadians would say they're trying to live healthier lives. And I think especially just given all the geopolitical issues right now, a lot of people have talked about investing at home and building out our manufacturing industry. But when you look at businesses possibly to invest in, those become some of the things that you have to think about, I guess, just what the environment looks like?
Yeah, people they're used to the crazy returns of technology and IT and anything in tech space.
Yeah.
And it's not that. These are steady businesses that need to be fueled in order to fuel us. And again, people are not investing enough in the space.
I would imagine it has been rewarding, though. The one thing that I've always observed, we were talking recently about the rise of things like non-alcoholic beverages. Like, there does seem to be within this area, because everyone's always interested in what they consume, if there's some local story and a new product and a story behind the product and the story behind the entrepreneurs, it does seem like a very interesting place to sit and stories to hear.
It is. I mean, the intersection of health and food is becoming more and more intertwined. So we used to think about our health and we used to think about the food we ate. Now we're thinking about how does the food that we eat actually impact our health? And that's new, our mental health, our physical health. And so it's very fascinating to see the innovation that's happening in the food sector.
What do you think, just given that, around the obsession on Wall Street with weight loss drugs? Because people look at the numbers and they get excited about that. I suppose that is one way to address an issue of how people feel about themselves or health issues. But it seems different than, healthier products that are tied to a healthier life.
Yeah, we have yet to see what the long-term impact of some of these weight loss drugs are, and whether people can take themselves off of these drugs after a period of time without regaining the weight, whether it's actually helpful for them from a mental health perspective, depending on why you want to lose this weight. But I have a lot of caution around, innovation that isn't yet fully formed as it relates to what it means to people's health in the long term, which is going to put burden on our healthcare system. If it creates other impacts, then we've got to be careful about that.
And we won't know, as you mentioned, until we walk through this story over the next few years. When you are looking at businesses, because a lot of people watch you analyze a business idea or even fully formed businesses in this area, what are the key ingredients of that? What goes into that?
I like that, key ingredients. There's lots of, you need good ingredients, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely need something that's scalable, that the ingredient source is going to be readily findable. So in other words, can you get a hold of what you need in order to make the product?
Which is going back to what you were saying before.
Right, yeah. Can you do that? You need an entrepreneur who's prepared to be scrappy, because it's so hard to raise capital right now in this space, in any space. It's so hard, so much capital on the sidelines. So you're looking for somebody who could be scrappy. You're looking for somebody who has good handle on their supply chain and management. And you're looking for a product that actually hits trends. Like, is it an alternative protein? Is it something that's giving people a healthy snacking option that makes them feel better about themselves and actually is good for them.
And how many of these entrepreneurs are rooted in knowing those realities? How much tech savvy is needed? Because, going back to that AI theme, like it's changing a lot. But I guess if you have a brand and you are driven and you know how to use the technology in front of you, I would imagine that helps to build awareness around what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you want food traceability. Knowing where your food supply is coming from is really important to people. And also the cost of bringing it and shipping it over is important to people. So locally grown, locally sourced, all of those things really matter as you're making your decisions. And you're picking brands that are, you want to buy brands that are local. But unfortunately, they can be a little more expensive. They can be a little bit harder to find.
So do you feel, after all the time you've spent in this area, do you feel good about the prospects longer term about, Canada being a great place to let these kind of businesses grow? I
do. And since we started Venture Park and the fund, we've put our little investments in this space has put $1.6 billion in economic impact in the country, and that's a result of really helping businesses scale, grow, create jobs, create opportunity, create manufacturing space. So yeah, I feel really good about the future. But again, I think we need to focus the investment community more on this space. It's not as sexy as AI, for sure. It's not as crazily valued as AI either, but it is imperative to our future health.
Is that those investors in Canada, or even when it comes to people who are thinking about investing in Canada as well?
I think investors in Canada in particular, we're a little more conservative. We don't, this is a bit of a new space to invest in. So people just thinking about it as a different asset class to think about.
All right.